Truth in the history of philosophy means, as we have noted during our previous sessions of this and of our other series, something fixable, exclusively self-identical, which is literally perfect, in contrast to the linguistic elements that are needed for its meaningful expression, in the sense that it is always given in a ready-made form, while the application of truth, like any change, is dynamic by nature. And that is due to the fact that the pure rational in itself is not constructive and remains self-limiting, or as this matter is characterized by Schopenhauer. But through pure logical change of reasoning, however true the premises might be, we shall never obtain more than an elucidation and exposition of what already lies complete in the premises. Thus, we shall only explicitly expound what was already implicitly understood herein. So, in sum, according to Nietzsche, knowledge and the process of evolution or change exclude each other. In the Critique of Pure Reason, Kant is contact with stating the inherent presence of the logically a priori, and thus avoiding the question to which neither logic nor metalogic even try to find an answer. Why are these principles true? What is the verity of the truth? And just as the eyes do not see themselves, and that is as Wittgenstein noted in his philosophical investigations, the balance of which impressions are weighed is not the impression of a balance. Logical principles do not themselves touch upon their own basis and do not answer the question of what guarantees their legitimacy. The assuming of the conclusion stems in this context from the fact that logical principles do not motivate themselves, or as Simeon Frank puts it, the absolute supremacy of logical rational explanation cannot be logically proven, for any proof itself rests on belief in the absolute final competence of pure rational reason. In other words, we can only state that something is logical, and we cannot answer the question of why logical is logical, if we don't want to fall into the conventionally meaningless repetition of the very statement itself. The Upanishads warn about this position. It is not visible, but sees everything. Not hearable, but hears everything. Not knowable, but knows everything. Not understandable, but understands everything. And apart from this seer, hearer, and knower, there is nothing else. Or, as Heidegger describes this circumstance, if an ordering principle is genuine, it has its own content as a thing, which is never to be found by means of such ordering, but is already presupposed in it. So, when the very rational of philosophy is rational in a mysterious way, it is clear that there is simply no convenient immediate self-authenticity for stringent justification. Common sense misunderstands understanding, remarks Heidegger, by the way, in this regard. And just as davidchalmers describes the problem of induction in the following way, induction cannot be justified inductively. Wittgenstein, again, analogically characterized the problem of deduction. Deductions only proceed according to the laws of deduction, but these laws cannot justify the deduction. And in a similar way, by quoting Gadamer, the problem of the basis of philosophical rationality can also be described. In fact, the mind, when it realizes itself, it realizes the rationality of something. That is, it knows itself through something, without being the master of itself. David Hume further describes this dependent state of mind in even more vivid colors. Reason is and ought only to be the slave of passions, and can never pretend to any other office than to serve and obey them. All in all, the basis of rational philosophy for us remains transrational, that is, a mystery. In other words, the self-evidence of the self-evident, in the proper sense, is not self-evident.